Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Should I start or wait some more? Wait for someone to join? Hello, I'm sorry, my video is not working. Anyway, I think slide is okay. 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 Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah. Should I start or should I wait for some more time?
No, ma'am. Start, ma'am.
Okay, I think we'll not waste others' time welcome. Okay. Very good afternoon to one and all. Um, okay, today I have two topics to be discussing with you people. One is on the categorization of waste, and the other one is the life cycle approach. Okay, now I think there was a couple of classes already started for you, or this is the first class? I think you had some questions already. Classes started, right? Okay, let me go ahead. I think we all know. Can I just ask someone what is waste? Yes, what do you think waste is? I don't want one way conversation. I want response from your end also so that it will be interesting for both of us. Hello, am I audible? Yeah, I'm audible, I think. Yeah. Yes. Can anyone tell what is waste? Hello? Can anyone tell what is waste?
Any material or thing that is not useful at all, no longer useful.
Very good, very good. Well, you're right. So, waste is something which the immediate owner will not find any particular use. But you must remember that if this is you if can be sorted out properly, it can be waste. For example, let me give an example. We throw plastics outside in our waste, right? But a rag picker collects the place plastic and he makes a living of it, right? So we say, in fact, waste is referred to as resource in the wrong place. Okay. So now we are looking at so the waste is very subjective, and what is waste to one person may not be waste to another. So in this concept, when you're saying waste as a resource, it's in the wrong place. We are also talking of circular economy. So what waste goes out should come out into the cycle and bring out the economy out of it. That is the purpose which we are the long run looking, because we know waste is going to be a huge challenge for the environment, and especially with plastic in the it's non degradable and will have a lot of challenges. So I think as a terminology, hospital waste, what was started as hospital waste became healthcare waste and biomedical waste. Okay, WHO uses the word healthcare waste, and in India, we, as per the biomedical waste management rules 2016, we coined the term as biomedical waste. Now, what is healthcare waste as per WHO? It is all the waste generated within the healthcare facility, research centers, and lab related to medical procedures. In addition, the waste which is in minor quantity but it is scattered across the healthcare, which is taken outside the hospital, like in your home also. For example, home healthcare like home dialysis, insulin administration for diabetic patients, recuperative care. All these also are covered under healthcare waste. So it includes diagnosis component and treatment component. It includes research component. It also look up investigations component. So all these things are part of healthcare waste. So WHO classifies healthcare waste as primarily into hazardous and non-hazardous. And in hazardous waste, we have sharp waste, infectious waste, pathological waste, pharmaceutical and cytotoxic waste, chemical waste, and radioactive waste. This is the WHO classification which is prescribed. I think for all our biomedical waste management, the blue book is the Bible, and we're very clearly given in this classification. So, it's not moving. Slide is not. So basically, we have to remember it is hazardous and non-hazardous. In the hazardous, we again have infectious and non-infectious waste. So under the hazardous waste, we have the radioactive waste, sharps, infectious, pathological, pharmaceutical and cytotoxic, and chemical waste. So if you look at healthcare waste, you know that it is not all the 100% is your infectious waste or hazardous waste. We have 25, only 25%, about 15 to 25% are the ones which are hazardous waste. The rest 75% is non-hazardous waste. Okay, that is your general waste. So you look at this is one of the breakup from the Europe office. That is, infectious waste can contribute up to 20%, sharp waste 1%, pathological waste 1%, pharmaceutical and chemical waste is 3%, and cytotoxic and radio waste is 1%. So what does this tells? We have, though the waste is 100 kg, say if you get 100 kgs of waste which is coming out, we have only 25% of them, that is 25 kgs, which we are need to look at critically and manage them effectively as a healthcare waste. The other non-hazardous waste, it is as the name says, it is non-hazardous and can be managed as any other general domestic waste.
Ma'am, the slides are not changing.
Not changing. Okay. Why is this? Okay. Is it moving now?
Yes, ma'am. It is now in non-hazardous general waste.
Okay, fine. So what do you mean by non-hazardous general waste? That is nothing but our general waste, which is free of any pathogenic microorganisms or hazardous substance, They're harmless and they do not require any special handling of treatment. It can be treated like our other general waste. Like example, you have food waste and general waste, which are like your packaging materials, metals, glass, papers, etc. These can be transported to the facilities through the municipal solid waste collection mechanism. Okay, so this is, sorry, don't read that. So but we must remember that if this non-hazardous waste is mixed with hazardous waste, even that complete waste has to be treated as hazardous waste. Okay, so hazardous waste, as I was telling, there are various categories like infectious agent, genotoxic, toxic chemical, radioactive use sharps. So what is infectious waste? Something which contains pathogens. Okay, this could be simple non-anatomical non-sharp waste. Can you give some example for this non-anatomical non-sharp waste, infectious waste? Anybody? From your daily practices, you would have seen it should be non-anatomical and it should be non-sharps, but it should be infectious. One or two examples you can give. Soiled bandages, okay, POP cast, okay, gauze. All these are coming as non-anatomical, non-sharp waste. Sharp waste are needles, blades, scalpel blades, okay. And anatomical or pathological waste, as the name says, anatomical, like for example, any amputated body parts, and also your placenta. Pathological waste, all your body organs which are come for the thing, okay. And offensive human waste from infectious patients, like your excreta or vomitus, those are all coming as offensive. These are all infectious waste. So as I told, non-atom, non-sharp waste examples are dressing, bandages, swabs, gloves, masks, gowns, drapes, cultural stocks from lab waste, waste from autopsies. Okay, sharp waste are both used and unused shops. Again, here we have two categories. One is metallic waste, another is glass. In our biomedical waste rules, we have segregated these two things in different color code. I'll come to that little later. And anatomical pathological waste, like your body parts, placenta, unused blood products, come as anatomical waste. Pathological waste, all your and body fluids. Offensive human waste, like your nappies and sanitary products. But in our rules, we are not covered as such the sanitary products directly. Now, non-hazardous pharmaceutical waste also. Pharmaceutical, we have two categories. One is the non-hazardous pharmaceutical waste and hazardous pharmaceutical waste. Non-hazardous are normal saline, cough syrup, vitamins, etc. And hazardous are those which have more heavy elements like your epinephrine, nicotine, warfarin, all those things. And the genotoxic ones are highly hazardous and they are capable of mutagenic, that is bringing about genetic mutation, teratogenic, causing defects in the embryo or fetus, and carcinogenic properties. Okay, they have to be specially treated, and these are basically all your cancer treating drugs come in this, and also radioactive materials come under this genotoxic materials. Now, cytotoxic waste, all these malignant treating medicines which are used for treatment of cancer neoplastic conditions. Chemical waste, we have a lot of chemicals which we really do not give much attention to, and these are the discarded chemicals which are used during disinfecting procedures and cleaning procedures. As such, though they are categories, we do not give much attention to this, is what I personally feel. They are hazardous because they can be toxic, corrosive, explosive, and chemically reactive. Okay, toxic and like again, there could be non-hazardous chemical waste like your sugars, amino acids, inorganic salts which are used for transmission liquids. Whereas it can also be contaminated with heavy metals and derivatives which are highly potential. They can have cadmium, mercury, silver, lead, etc. So radioactive waste and another hazardous waste. These are any waste which is contaminated with radioactive nucleates produced in procedures like your analysis of body fluids or imaging techniques, diagnostic techniques, and therapeutic. These are also very critical because they can have risk of having radiological effect on the especially on the cells and the not born fetus. Now let's look at what are the risks associated with hazardous waste. You can have physical risk, biological risk, or microbiological risk, radiological risk, and environmental risk. Let's look at each of this. Physical risk is just simple your injuries, that is your needle stick injuries, then effects of ionizing radiation, burns from lasers, then noise pollution because of heavy sound and all, and that's from electricity. So these are general physical risk which we can get from our hospital, and then specifically with the biomedical waste management. Chemical risk, because of the chemical agents we can get burns, effect of gaseous fumes, it can get allergies, damages to the tissues after absorption, and genetic mutations. Microbiological risk, because of the pathogens or disease, because of this you can get infections like your HIV, TB, hepatitis B, C, and all. Radiological risk is determined by the type of exposure and what to what extent you have been exposed to, and radioactive waste is usually also genotoxic waste. So acute exposure can cause headache, dizziness, vomiting, and larger doses can cause even more serious problems. Apart from this individual personal risk for individuals, we also have a environmental risk for the biomedical waste. So how is it caused? It can cause air pollution. This is because of release of toxic fumes containing gases and chemicals. This is specifically happening because of improper combustion. Okay, we have incineration as one of the important treatment method which we are using. If we are not maintaining adequate temperature, especially the plastics, what we have chlorinated plastics, if it goes into these kind of incineration, this can cause release toxic chemicals. You heard of this dirty dozens? Okay, in Stockholm Convention, we have listed two important chemicals which are directly related to biomedical waste because of improper combustion, that is dioxins and furans, which have a great bearing on human health. We have greenhouse, it can affect greenhouse gases, then mercury and other heavy metals have their own risk. So, who are the people at the risk? Can anyone tell who are the people at risk? Who is affected because of all this waste management?
Patient, healthcare workers,
Patient, healthcare
community.
workers, community. Yes, in essence, we can say that those who are directly working in the hospital with the patients and with the things, it's not nurses, doctors, hospital maintenance staff, waste handler, visitors, patients, everyone. But if we do not manage this waste properly and dispose it indiscriminately into the municipal solid waste, we can affect the it will affect the rag pickers, poor people. They do not know the implications. They can be getting HIV and hepatitis B if we are not careful about it, and similarly the community at large will be affected. Okay, so this is the broad categories of waste as per WHO I've told. Next I'll be talking of uh, uh, the way categories of waste as per biomedical waste rules. There are so many categories you have seen, but finally while managing we need to have lesser categories, because initially I think if you all remember way back, if you see 10-15 years back, we used to have multiple containers and have the segregation and do, but over the years we have realized that it is not required to have so many containers, and we are now condensed to four important categories of waste for uh, segregation of waste. Okay, now we'll move on to the next topic. Do you need a break or is it fine?
Fine, man.
Fine. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now we'll move on to the life cycle approach of biomedical waste management. So, okay. So we all know that biomedical waste is a cause of concern and needs to be strengthened. Okay. And COVID has underlined the importance of biomedical waste in the country. And definitely, I think we must all agree that what was in situation of biomedical waste management in 1998 If you look at in 2004, definitely it has gone way back ahead. But we need to go a long way because there are so many challenges we are facing which we need to address then and there and move forward. So just to look at the figures, what is the uh, problems we are facing with these things? This is one of the old data, of course, but this is really an eye opener. I felt WHO in 2000 published that contaminated injections with contaminated syringes cause, as estimated that almost 32% of all new infections of HBV is because of contaminated injections. Again, 40% of all HCV infections is because of contaminated syringes, and 5% of all HIV infection was because of syringes. This means to say that we are not taking safety precautions while managing, especially the reuse of syringes. Now, as we all discussed, we know the hazards of healthcare are infection of healthcare workers and patients. Okay, it affects the healthcare workers, it can affect the patients, and it can infect the rat pickers. Okay, and also I think the most risky people who are handling this way are the waste handlers within the hospital and also waste collectors who are collecting the waste from the hospital to the common treatment facility where they are handling the waste there, and also the recycling industries where they kind of handle this waste, but we expect it should be treated and then reaching them. But if we are not doing our treatment process properly, the probability of the risk will increase to this recycling. Beyond that, as an environment risk, we have air pollution, soil pollution, water pollution. If we do not treat our liquid waste and allow it to go directly, it can contaminate both the soil and the water bodies. And you can see that dogs feeding on the. Yes, yes, any questions?
Ma'am, ma'am, slide is not changing, ma'am.
Again, huh?
Slides are not changing.
One
Huh?
minute, one minute. Let me just again start. One. Okay. Is it changing?
Yes, ma'am.
No. If I put in now, is it changing
Now it is there, ma'am. Afterwards, it is not changing, ma'am. Any
now?
one you are presenting, after that it is not changing.
Now, which slide are you seeing, ma?
WHO 2000 contaminated injections with contaminated
Now,
syringes
now.
cause a trans. The same thing only, ma'am.
Oh, I think I shouldn't put in the slideshow. Okay, fine then. I can go ahead with this one.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Mm. Okay. This also close. Let me see this. Yeah. Now is it changing?
Yes, ma'am. Hazards of healthcare waste.
Okay. Now,
No, ma'am.
no.
No, ma'am.
Biomedical
Same.
waste management.
Yeah, correct. Okay, fine. So now all of you will agree that biomedical waste management is an occupational safety issue, and definitely it's going to affect the environment. So it's an environmental safety issue and also a patient safety issue. Yes, patient comes to us for us some treatment. We should not give a bonus gift of some other infection because of our poor management of biomedical waste. Beyond all this, I think attitude is one of the important consideration we must all keep in mind, because we have attitudinal issue also in addressing this biomedical waste management. So we all agree. Now, can you see that slide? Which slide is shown? Please let me know.
Therefore, we must safely dispose the waste.
Thank you, ma. Therefore, we all agree that we must safely dispose this waste, correct? So now, what are the principles we were to follow? You have heard this terminologies, I think, right? 3 R, 4 Rs, whatever it is. Reduce, reuse, recycle, recover. These are some of the principles we must follow, which will prevent us, which will reduce the waste on the, and also reduce the risk. Can anyone tell an example of reduce the waste? Is it possible to reduce the waste? Yes. Can we reduce waste? I need some response from the other end. Can we reduce waste? Okay, okay. Any of the example you can give? Reuse, recycle, recover, anything?
Plastics can be recycled, no?
Very good. Very good. Anything else? Okay, let me give you example for reduce waste. Reduce waste, like if you have good purchasing policy so that you do not end up in producing expiry drugs, correct? That will again lead on to the wasting of increasing the waste, right? So reduce waste, or in the place of using disposable, you can use disposable waste, again will increase the volume of waste. If you have an option to use reusable ones or reusable ones, you can use. Or in place of cleaning a bandage, if you take a big cotton swab, instead if it can be managed with a smaller cotton swab, that is also good. So if you have a green policy and purchasing policies, you can reduce the waste. Reuse is, do we reuse materials in our hospital which can reduce the waste generation? Can you give some example where we reuse certain items in our hospital? We do definitely use, right? Like your culture glass plates, okay? They reuse bottles, okay? Some glass bottles for collecting urine samples. Sometimes they use those things. So those are all reuse. Even your linen, you reuse them till it is completely worn out or torn out or completely infected with infectious waste. You reuse them. Those are all a process of, if what if you imagine all your linen also become disposable, the quantum of waste is going to be huge, correct? And it's very difficult to manage. Recycle, as you gave example, using plastic for sending plastic for recycling. So here we have used two terminologies, reuse and recycle. Can you give a difference? Can you anybody tell the difference between reuse and recycle, please? See, plastics can be reused. Sometimes we use a drinking water bottle, we will keep reusing and then using it. Or glass bottle for drinking, we'll keep using it. Again, the same plastic or glass can be sent for recycling. So, what is the difference between these two things? Reuse and recycle. Anybody give a thought? Give a try, please. Are they both same? Reusing the glass bottles or recycling the glass bottle? Yes?
In recycle, I think we'll make a new thing out
Correct.
of the
Very
raw
good.
materials.
Reuse is in the same form we are reusing, probably after a proper following cleaning, disinfection, or decontamination process. Whereas recycle, we will change it after recycle, whatever decontamination or disinfection, we change the product into a new thing. For example, you send a glass bottles and you make it a bucket. Okay, sorry, plastic bottles into bucket, or sometimes they use plastics for road making. That is called as recycling. What is recovering waste? Recovering waste is to extract heavy metals which are um, toxic, which do not go into the thing, and it is also useful again. For example, mercury. From mercury spills, you take the thing and send it for again manufacturing, okay? That is recovering waste. Silver extracts, we used to, I think if you all remember x-rays, we used to before have a silver extraction from the liquid x-ray film processing, right? That is silver extraction, like that. Okay, now of course it's digitalized. We don't have such less, we have less of those kind of x-ray process, so that is reduced. So you all remember the 4 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle, and recover principle. So we all agree that there should be a safe management of biomedical waste management. For that, we need to have an important thing is life cycle approach. Life cycle approach means from the start till the end, we need to have a systematic approach to the management of waste management. Okay, I'll go into the components of waste management little later. Anyway, for this, we need to have a IEC or health education or whatever you call capacity building or awareness creation to see that we address the attitude of each and every person. Okay, because we must all agree that we must all remember that waste management is not a responsibility of only single person. Do you think who is the important person to manage the waste? Anybody can tell? Who is most responsible, you feel?
Healthcare worker.
Healthcare worker? With who among the healthcare worker you feel? Whose job is it? Whose job is it?
Management.
Management. Very good. Anybody else? Any other answer? Okay, I'll come to this question little later. Okay, and we need to have policies in matter in such place so that everyone respects it and follows it as prescribed in the institutions. And committees, we need to have committee according to rules. Also, we have what is called as we need to have biomedical waste management committee. Especially, any idea for how many bedded we must have a committee in place? For what bedded hospital? It's a mandate thing. I think you're all working in hospitals, right? Most of you. Can I pick up the name Kuldeep from you are working in a hospital? Kuldeep? Okay, let me ask Shweta.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can I get an introduction of all of you so that I know what is the background for me to discuss? Shweta, what are you working as?
Senior nursing officer, ma'am, in ESIC Bangalore.
In which hospital?
ESIC, ma'am, Bangalore.
ESI hospital. Okay, good. Shamanta? Shamanta?
Yes, ma'am. I'm also senior nursing officer in ESIC Bangalore.
Bangalore. Okay,
Hello.
good. Shrikanta Padan. Thank you.
Yes,
Shrikanta
ma'am.
Padan.
I am a student of Master Public Health in AIMS Raipur, All India
Names
Institute
Raipur.
Medical.
Okay, good. Okay. Banani, Brother. Banani, are you on there? Kuldeep? Oh, Banani is a biomedical engineer. Okay, fine. Kuldeep, can you message, text me also? Not a issue. Message me. WhatsApp. Chat. Put it on chat. Okay. So I see there is an hospital. So we need to have ESI hospital as a biomedical waste management committee, I think, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So all 30 bedded hospitals should have biomedical waste management committees. Okay. And records, as per rules, we need to maintain certain records and they are valid. They should be there for at least 5 years. And training is a very important component in our waste management. So these are some of the essentials to have a safe management of biomedical waste. One minute. Okay. Okay, I think you're all aware of this. Our biomedical, we had an earlier rule which was in 1998 that was superseded, and now we have the biomedical waste rules 2016 and notified by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change under the broader umbrella of Environment Protection Act 1986. This is a mother act for our biomedical, all the waste related acts. Now, let let me brush up so that you all have the same understanding. So, as per these are all definitions as per our biomedical waste management rules 2016. So, biomedical waste is any waste which is generated during the diagnosis, treatment, or immunization of human beings or animals or research activities. So, you can relate here that It just not restricts to hospital alone. Diagnosis, treatment, it can also be due to immunization, which can happen in the hospital or outside the hospital also. So, for example, COVID, you had vaccination everywhere, right? We had vaccination run in drive-in schools, factories, everywhere. So all those places also will be covered under rules, means you have to follow the rules there. And not only of human beings, but also of animals. And also all research activities pertaining to production or testing of biological or also in the health camps. So the rules applicability, which was there predominantly before, focused on only the hospitals and nursing homes, like hospital, as pushed even to the veterinary houses, then animal houses, labs, blood banks. Ayush hospitals also are covered. Before it was not specified. Now the rules is very clear. Even it covers the Ayush hospital and all the camps which we conduct outside our hospital. These are some terminologies which so, or I'm just reiterating if you are already know it. Occupier, one of the important person which they have mentioned is occupier, and the other one is an operator. Occupier is someone who is having an administrative responsibility of the institution where the waste is generated. Okay, for example, in a hospital it usually is the medical superintendent. In a nursing home, the director of that hospital. Whoever is the head of the hospital who is having administrative responsibilities will be called as an occupier. You may be called as principal, you may be called as director, dean, whatever it is, or a head, whatever it is, irrespective of the name called, he is the occupier and he is the predominant person who will be answerable to the law. Okay. Similarly, for the common biomedical waste treatment facility, we have what is called as operator. Okay, the same equivalent terminology of occupier and healthcare waste management is the operator of the common biomedical waste treatment facilities. Under the rules, there is some salient changes which happened in 2016. One is the provision of final storage room in all the facilities, healthcare facilities. They need to have a separate storage room, and an important decision was taken out to was to phase out the use of chlorinated plastic bags, gloves, and blood bags by actually 2000. I don't know to what extent this has happened in the country, but this was one of the important features mentioned in the rules. It emphasizes that occupiers should provide training to all the healthcare workers, conduct health checkup for them, immunize them with TT, that is tetanus toxoid, and hepatitis B vaccination, and he is responsible to ensure the occupational safety of his worker. So, his or her worker. So, if a person has to carry the waste, he must provide all the personal protective equipment and ensure that he safely carries on his job. So he must train them and make sure that he wears the PPE and collects the waste and goes. And also, it is a responsibility of the occupier to have established the barcoded based software system. Again, this is one of the things which has not happened greatly in the country. Next, I have a display of waste management monthly record on the websites, and this currently the pollution control board has taken responsibility now because it has not completely happened in every healthcare facilities, and all major accidents have to be reported within 24 hours in form 1. Here major accidents means not our needle stick injuries. Say for example a truck falls while a truck meets with an accident, or all the waste spills over, or a fire accident of the waste happens, then it is called as major accident, which has to be reported within 24 hours. And no untreated waste should be stored beyond 48 hours. This specially applicable to the infectious waste and pathological waste, which usually gets degraded or contaminated very quickly. Those waste, especially the yellow color waste, should be not stored beyond 48 hours. And if there is any irregular visit of the common biomedical waste facility, it is a responsibility of the occupier to report to the pollution control board as and when there is a irregularity, and they have to form a biomedical waste committee and hold at least meeting once in 6 months. And in places where there is no committee, that is which is less than 30 bedded hospitals, they have to nominate one person who is called as nodal officer, who will be responsible for making all the reports and reporting to the pollution control board, and all the containers should be labeled properly. This is one of the example of waste management committee. I think this will be addressed later in your managerial classes. I'll not skip all these things. Even rules they will be mentioning. I'll skip all these things because it will be covered again for you people. I'll now go to the waste management thing. Okay, components of waste management. That is your life cycle approach, which should look at from the segregation to the final treatment and disposal options. All the components should be carefully managed, and see to that the waste in the hospital and the is properly managed. So we need, from the first step which starts is the segregation, then disinfection, collection and transportation within the healthcare facilities, then transportation outside the healthcare facility, and final treatment and disposal. Okay, as a basis for this we need to have policies, SOP monitoring, records in place, and SOP in place. And for all this, we must keep the bottom line is our worker safety, because we are important. The ones who are generating waste is important, and also patient safety also in mind. And also we have the other component is the environmental safety in mind. Keep all these three safety in mind and see to that our waste management is managed in a very cyclic. I think of all these components, the most important point is the segregation at point of generation. Segregate waste at point of generation is the most critical point we must all remember, and we must emphasize that all the healthcare workers follow this in the hospitals. So, what is the purpose of segregation? Why we need to segregate at the point of generation? One is to reduce the quantum of waste. It will reduce the cost. So quantum of waste, infectious waste reduces, you automatically the cost also reduces. You all know that you all know that we hospitals are bound to pay the money to the common biomedical waste treatment facility to manage their waste, right? So if you are not maybe segregating, your complete waste is counted as infectious and you need to pay for that. Definitely if you are going to segregate, it is reducing your cost as well. It improves the cleanliness of your hospital, the visually your hospital look better, and also it reduces the chance of spreading infections and injuries by minimizing contact, and thereby you are ensuring the occupational safety and patient safety also. So I think you all seen this biohazard symbol. This symbol has to be placed on all the liners and the containers. And this is one symbol. The other one is a cytotoxic symbol, which will have C symbol. Coming to the segregation, this is the categorization of waste, which we have four color coded thing: yellow, red, blue, white. Can anyone tell why these four color codes? Any reason why we have segregated all this? I think WHO category of waste we showed so many categories, right? But here now finally we have only four color codes. Why? Any answers from your end? Okay, I'll come to that little later when I talk of treatment and disposals. So what are the wastes which are going into yellow color waste? Your human anatomical waste, animal anatomical waste, placenta, fetus, then soiled waste, all those contaminated with blood and body fluids, which are mainly tend to be, excuse me, 1 minute, infected. That has to be into going into yellow. And discarded linen, mattresses, beddings contaminated with blood or body fluid, when you want to dispose it completely, that will also go into yellow. And also all your lab waste and blood bags will go into yellow color. This, of course, all these have to be pre-treated before disposing into yellow color container or bag. So these are the ones which are going into yellow. That is human anatomical waste, soiled waste, discarded linen, and microbiological clinical laboratory waste. And also one more waste which is going is, which is not mentioned here, is pharmaceutical waste. Okay. We are coming to that. Okay. Pharmaceutical expired and discard drugs, we preferably say to, for all your expired drugs and all, better to send it back to the manufacturer, or you have a common point at probably pharmacy and put all the expired drugs into one place. And cytotoxic waste needs to be separately collected, and this has to be having symbol of cytotoxic C symbol, which you are seeing in the picture on the right side. So expired drugs, as I told, should be returned back to the manufacturers or sent to the common biomedical waste treatment facility in the yellow color containers, or you can also send it to hazardous waste treatment. And we have all the liquid waste category, chemical liquid waste also is categorized as yellow. Doesn't mean that it has to be going into yellow cover or color liner or container, but it is considered as infectious waste, or when it is considered as a hazardous waste and it is labeled as yellow. It could be your silver X-ray film liquid, infected solutions, all liquids, or formalin and liquids. So you have chemical as well as infected waste. This has to be properly pre-treated and then sent to the effluent treatment plant or sewage treatment plant. Now coming to the, so that is about yellow. Yellow, if you are given to understand, it has to be sent to the common biomedical waste treatment facility, where it is usually incinerated. In places where there is no common biomedical waste treatment facility, the yellow color waste will go in for deep burial. Deep burial. Okay. Some states like Odisha do not have many what to say common biomedical, and according to the rules, all the hospitals, if they have common biomedical facilities within 75-kilometer radius, they must hand over all their waste to the CTF. Only if they're beyond CTF, they can have their own system, but they have to again comply by all the regulations mentioned in the country. I'll just take 2 minutes break. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, 2 minutes break. Okay, I'm coming back. Good afternoon again. Okay, just to summarize, what we are talking was. Okay. So we had human anatomical waste, soil waste, discarded linen, microbiological clinical lab waste, and cytotoxic waste, and the expired drugs, chemical liquid waste, which are categorized under yellow. Now, red. What is red waste? Is all our recyclable waste, plastics and gloves. You can remember, like, all plastics and gloves will go into red. So while we are segregating, we can keep this in mind. All those which can be burnt will go into yellow. All those which cannot be burnt, that is, plastics and gloves, will go into red. Except for blood bag. The rule has told that blood bag should go into uh, yellow only. Okay. So what goes catheter, urine bag? Again, this vacuotinous is again a gray area because it's very difficult. It's a plastic. Should it go to yellow, red is always a question. As per CPCB guidelines, in fact, now I just checked, it is in yellow only. But anyway, what I feel is not important. Now, the rule says that it should go into yellow. This is a correction. Please look into that. It has to be autoclaved and then sent into yellow. Your IV bottles, gloves, syringes without needle, all will go into red. So what will happen to these recyclable plastics? This will be autoclaved in the CTF, then shredded and then sent to recycling. Okay. Now coming to the white color container, this is for all waste sharps, especially metallic ones, scalpels, suture blades, needles from needle tip cutter, syringes with fixed needles. So if you are not able to separate the needles from the syringes, then you have to put it into the container, because here you are considering the risk more important than the material. Okay. So what is the container we use for all this sharp waste? Because it is having a potential to cause injury, we need to put it in white, translucent, tamper proof, leak proof, puncture proof container. Okay. uh, Next, this says what will happen to this. Finally, at the CTF, the final treatment is autoclaving followed by shredding or mutilation, that is, you break it, and encapsulation, you mix with the metals and then keep it separately with the cement, and keep it as cement concrete blocks, or in a drums you can have the cement mixed with this metal things and keep it. As a sharp waste, we are not in a position to recycle, we are only keeping it safe after decontamination. So blue container is basically the disposed glasswares and metallic body implants, which will go into blue color containers. And this, again, what is the treatment? In CTF, it will be autoclaved, shredded, and then recycling. So you can see that red and blue, the final treatment is same: autoclaving, shredding, and recycling. Then why are we separating? Anybody can tell me why blue and red are separate, though the treatment? Finally, why we are looking at the segregation color codes is, we can see from this thing, all the treatment process is different. That is the basis for our color coding. Okay. Segregation color coding is based on the final treatment option. So yellow, if you see, it's going in for incineration. White is going in for autoclaving, shredding, and then encapsulation. Red and blue, both of them are going for autoclaving, shredding, and recycling. But still, we are separating. Why we are separating red and blue separately? But it is separate. Why? The process is the same. Why are we separating then? It is autoclaving, shredding, and recycling. Can anyone just give an answer? Why is blue and red separated, though the process is autoclaving, shredding, and recycling in both the cases?
Because in the red cases, ma'am, there is some chances of contamination. So uh,
Hmm.
before the restoration, pre-treatment can be needed for that.
You assume that blue is not contaminated only?
Ma'am, in most probably
Mostly
wherever,
it is not contaminated, but even if it is contaminated, you're going to put it in that only.
yeah, yeah.
Ah. Anybody? Good attempt. Here it is predominantly plastic, there it is glass and metal. Okay, so the recycling industries are different. Okay, so for finally we are looking at recycling. Coming back to the circular economy means we must be able to give it. If you mix
Ma'am,
it up, yeah.
ma'am, excuse me, please. Do the some mute arrangement, ma'am. Some
Noise is
others,
coming.
yeah, other sounds are there.
Okay, sorry, I nullified. Okay, now is it okay? Hmm.
Ma'am,
Okay, so we see that recycling industry of plastic is different, glass is different. That's the reason we are separating the blue and red container. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Next. Now, shall we just go to this exercise thing to just understand our categories of waste and color coding? Which color code it has to go? Okay, it's going. We will not get the picture only. Uh, Placenta will go into
ma'am, yellow.
yellow. Correct. Mask, is the image is moving? The slide is moving? Is the slide moving? What image you're seeing?
This is biohazard and placenta.
Oh no, well, then it's not moving. One minute. I'll take a new
Yeah.
image. Okay. Now can you see? Okay. Which color code is this? Aborted fetus?
Yellow.
Yellow. Good. Is the image
Yellow.
seen? Yeah.
Yeah, yellow.
Fine. One minute. This one?
Red.
Ma'am,
Red. Red.
Red. Why?
red.
येलो में जाएगा मैम
It is yellow. It is
Yellow.
infected waste, disposable mask, which can be incinerated, so it can go into yellow.
Ma'am, okay.
It's not plastic, no. If it's plastic, it can go into red.
Blue.
Discarded empty glass
Yellow.
bottles will go into blue. If there is any chemical liquids, medicine like remaining will go into yellow. Laboratory culture?
Yellow.
Yeah. Before that, it has to be pre-treated, autoclaved. Needle?
White.
White punch-proof container.
White.
Correct.
Punchable.
IV cannula with needle?
White.
No, here you have to separate it out. Needle should go into cut and separate into white, and the rest will go into red.
Red.
Tongue depressible, disposable?
Yellow.
Yellow. Good. Syringe?
Red.
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 Shoe covers?
Ma'am, red.
Yeah.
Yellow.
If it is plastic, it will go to red. If it is not a not plastic, it can go into yellow. I think each hospital will have a different material. You take a logic thing to this. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am, most of using plastic.
Yeah, if they're using plastic, should go into red.
Yeah.
That's a simple logic you should keep. Okay, keep in mind what is your final treatment option, and what is the material, what is the infection, what is the risk it carries, and based on it you have to decide. Blood bag,
Yellow.
yellow. Blood bag is directly will go into yellow after autoclave, of course.
Pre-treatment, yellow.
The cover, outside cover, plastic cover you are seeing,
Red,
no?
red,
Ah. When you remove the glass bottle, the plastic cover, where do you throw?
red.
Any other
Black.
answer? Yes?
Plastic cover,
Ah.
say black in the black.
Yes, it's a general waste, right? You need not. It's not contaminated with blood or body fluids, so you need not put it in red color. Cytotoxic waste.
Blue.
Cytotoxic waste is yellow with C symbol, no blue.
Ma'am,
All
yellow.
yes, though it is material, for cytotoxic waste, all the waste, different materials also will go into same cytotoxic C only because it is contaminated. We can't have separate for that. Okay. Glass slide. Glass slide.
Glass in blue.
Blue. Yes.
Ma'am,
Yes. Tell me. Any doubts?
yes, ma'am. If blood is there, then
No. Even if blood is there, just remember that all these four categories can be contaminated. Don't think whether blood is there or not.
okay.
All are contaminated, right? If it doesn't have blood, it will in fact become general waste.
Right.
Correct. So even if it has blood, because again this will be autoclaved in your CTF. Eurosuck bag.
After removing,
Red.
it goes to the red.
The urine has to be emptied into
Yeah,
the
sewerage,
GTP or sewage, whatever it is, and the
then
container should go into
red.
red. Correct. Vaccine vials.
Yeah,
Empty one will go into
Blue.
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 If you have expired or the leftover vaccines and all, that will go into yellow. Okay, keep this in mind.
White puncture proof.
Yes,
White, white.
white. Police catheter.
Also
Red.
red.
Red. Yes. Gloves. Assume it is contaminated with blood.
Yes, yellow, ma'am.
Yellow.
Why yellow?
Blood contaminated.
Even plastic is blood contaminated.
Final treatment is
Red.
incineration.
Do you want to burn the gloves? Is it good?
It will go in red.
It will
Red.
go in red. Okay. One more reason why we should not put gloves into yellow is usually when you are putting into
Because this is a latex.
it is latex. It goes stick to the walls of the incinerator and brings down the efficiency of the incinerator. So we should not
Yes.
put gloves into that. Just a minute. Hello. Can I give you a call later? I'm in the midst of a class. Thank you. Yes. So that's one thing. Soiled cotton swab?
Same.
Go yellow.
Yellow, correct. Vial, empty vials, bottles?
Ma'am,
Blue.
blue.
Blue, good. Disposable cap?
This is yellow.
Yellow.
Yellow, okay. Again, this also, you
If
take
it
a
is
decision. If it's a plastic, it will go into red.
red,
Mm.
Gloves?
Red.
yeah, yellow. Red, red.
Red.
Yeah.
This one, assume it is empty Lysol disinfectant container.
Red.
Yellow,
Red.
yellow.
Why red? Why yellow?
Then
Red.
because it is empty, then or if it is not empty, that it is yellow, and it is empty, then plastic goes to red.
The liquid is considered as yellow, but we'll be using it anyway for chemical disinfection. The container is not infected. It can be reused for something else or filling up or anything as a general waste you can dispose. Soil linen,
Yellow.
Yellow.
yellow. It can be burnt, right? If you're using. We don't put it into the container. Maybe we have to tag it with yellow ribbon or something and then label and send. Syringe with fixed needle?
White puncture proof
Ma'am,
container.
white.
Correct. Placenta?
Ma'am, yellow.
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 Yes.
Blue.
White.
White.
Sorry,
Why
white,
blue?
white, white, white. Ma'am.
White.
Correct. Band-aid?
Yellow.
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 White.
White.
The
White. Okay. Vacuum
Red.
cleaners?
Red.
Red.
Yellow. Actually, this is yellow. It's in CPCB guidelines. For me, it should be in red. But for CPCB guidelines, it says autoclave and then put it into yellow. I feel it
Why
should go
this?
into red.
Why in this yellow, ma'am?
Because it's a lab waste, right? Like lab microbiological waste. Blood contained this thing container. Technically, I feel it should be going into red. As of now, in the CPCB guidelines, also they have mentioned that. So I don't want to change from that angle because it will cause confusion for you people. We propose it to be going into red. We have been having discussion with this with the CPCB. It's not yet finalized. Okay, that's it. Good job. You all done.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, due to vials are not used by the patient, it is used by the specialist in the
Pardon.
lab.
Pardon. Come back
Ma'am,
again.
just blood collecting, the sampling
Uh-huh.
container. These are not used by the contaminated person. It is used by the experts.
Which one? Vacuum cleaners, huh?
Just last month, right?
That's what vacuum cleaners. We collect the blood, but with blood we do not know no whether it is contaminated one or not contaminated. Anything which comes in contaminate, I mean, which comes with contact with blood or body fluids, it's considered as infectious waste.
Okay, okay.
Okay, we do not know what is the status. That is not our concern, but we need to consider it as biomedical waste. Okay, finally we have finished all this color coding, right? Good job. Okay, to summarize, what we have been learning is yellow categories: all your anatomical waste, soil waste, microbiology waste, discarded medicines, soil, linen and beddings, blood bags, chemical waste. So you see so many categories of waste what we discussed in WHO have been grouped under yellow. The basis for grouping this is basically the final treatment option. All this yellow category will go into incineration. Similarly, red will go for recycling industry after autoclaving, shredding. Blue also autoclave. Nobody asked me the questions. Why is this metallic body implants is going with the broken glass? Any idea? All your metal sharps are in white. They also could have gone there, no, but they're not putting there. This metallic body implants, all those are used by the orthopedicians, like metals.
These
Blue
metals are,
container.
ma'am,
Blue.
Yeah.
blue. Ma'am, these are some cases white and some cases it's blue.
What is
And
white? No, this is separate. White is separate, blue is separate. It's very clear now.
ma'am, what is your question?
My question is metallic body implants, why is it in blue? With the glass. Glass is going for glass industry, recycling industry. Can
Yes,
metallic body implants also go with the glass industry? How will they separate is my question. I said
All
before
metallic, all
plastics
metallic
and
part,
yeah.
all metallic item go in the
white.
white.
No, all metal won't go. Sharp waste only will go into white.
Ma'am, these are the general waste. Some
No, none
cases.
of these are general waste. All these are
Ah,
biomedical waste.
okay.
All these are considered as biomedical waste.
Because ma'am, it's the chances to for the recycling.
No, that's what I'm asking you. Whether the glass and metallic body implements together go for recycling. They're different materials, no? That is the
Yes,
reason
ma'am.
I told glass and plastics are separated. They are made red and blue separately. Correct. I said
Correct.
plastics will go separately. That's why they are categorized as red. All those waste, will be sent to the plastic recycling industry. Similarly,
Correct.
glass and metallic recycling industry also separate, but how come they are jointly putting together?
Because ma'am, they are sharp,
Which is
and
sharp.
yeah, and
Huh.
chances to cut an injured healthcare professional. Then
Not, that is not the reason. I'm
Mhm.
asking for recycling industry. There are different industries. Glass recycling industry is different again.
Correct.
Metallic recycling industry also is different.
Right.
Why are they now mixing off in the blue?
Man, you give the answer.
I'll
We
have
not.
to do. Okay. Yeah. This usually metallic body implants is very small component we get in the hospitals, correct?
Uh,
Usually it is predominantly glass which goes into blue. Even if we put metallic body implants into this, after all your
Ma'am, very easy to segregate because by using this magnetic wave, they can be
very
easily
good.
segregated.
Very good. You got the right answer. With
Yeah.
magnetic thing, they'll separate the metal from the glass and send the metals for the
Ma-
metallic industry and glass to the glass industry. Very good.
Yes,
Very
yes,
good.
yes.
You got
Because
the
ma'am, and most of the time these are the platinum, and
huh.
another sorry, another is specific costly things. So they are also go
Yeah, they're very
uh,
high quality
high
metals
quality
which can be
metals.
recycled. However, all our metallic sharps are that is difficult. We're not able to recycle. The cost will be much more costlier than doing the recycling because it's a very refined metal steel. So they don't send it for recycling. Okay, clear? All of you are clear with these categories of waste now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, color coded bins. What are the specifications? For yellow or red, it should be red bin with red plastic